Zootopia 2 smiles like a kid's movie, but underneath, it's quietly speaking fluent mafia, crime, and grown-up chaos. On the surface, Zootopia 2 feels playful, but watch closely, and you'll catch dark jokes and adult references hiding everywhere. And here's where things get way darker than they look. Mr. Big's tiny granddaughter Judith walks in, sounding sweet, talking about making nice shoes for Duke Weaselton. Kids hear that and think it's adorable. Cute little mouse, harmless line. But adults? Adults freeze for a second. Because if you've ever seen a mafia movie, nice shoes isn't about fashion. It's code. Cement shoes. A classic Godfather-style threat that ends with someone at the bottom of a river. That's the genius of it. Disney hides a straight-up mob execution reference inside a childlike voice. No blood, no violence, just implication. Kids laugh, adults get uncomfortable, and once you notice it, you can't unhear it. What did you think she meant the first time you watched it? But wait, this part flips the tone completely. At a fancy party, Gazelle is shoved by zebra police officers. It's brief, but charged, and she's clearly furious. Later, she and her tiger dancers violently retaliate against those same cops. For kids, it plays as a satisfying comeback where the bad guys get what they deserve. Adults, though, see the problem immediately. Even abusive cops are still cops, and attacking them is a serious crime. The movie doesn't explain that, and that silence makes it feel messy, uncomfortable, and real, quietly asking what justice looks like when authority abuses power. The film goes further into adult territory with a catnip smuggling bust. Kids see harmless green leaves, but adults recognize a clear drug metaphor. The police treat it like a narcotics raid, mirroring real-world drug enforcement. Then Nick and Judy are sent to partner therapy, not discipline. What looks funny to kids feels like couples counseling to adults, full of emotional subtext about trust, communication, and unresolved tension. And here's a line that makes adults do a double take. Dr. Fuzzby casually mentions that the safe word is coconut. Kids laugh because it's random. Silly words. End of joke. But adults pause, because safe words don't come from nowhere. They come from situations where things can go too far, where someone needs an immediate stop. Disney slips these ideas in quietly, never explaining them, never pointing them out. Kids miss them completely, but once adults catch on, the references feel surprisingly mature, even uncomfortable, and clearly intentional. A lot of it is pure fan service for grown-ups. Nick scrolling through Hull Zoo is a perfect example. Kids see funny animal titles, but adults recognize clear parodies of Hulu shows, action movies, and even horror. Platypus especially gives off unmistakably R-rated energy, a joke meant for parents watching from the couch and quietly smirking. Then there's the line, "That'll do, pig." Kids hear praise. Adults instantly hear Babe, the 1995 classic, triggering nostalgia on purpose. Disney is talking directly to parents here, and it gets heavier with the Tundra Town expansion, which freezes out entire communities. Adults see gentrification, displacement, and power disguised as progress. Disney doesn't explain it, it just shows the damage, trusting adults to connect the dots. And here's a detail almost no kid would ever notice. When we see Nick Wilde's apartment, his door number is 23. Looks random, totally ordinary, but longtime Disney fans catch it instantly. Disney was founded in 1923, and that number has become sacred inside the company. It's why Disney's official fan club is called D23. This isn't a story clue, it's a wink. A quiet nod to adults who know the history and catch these hidden signatures without needing them explained. This moment works on two levels, and that's what makes it clever. At the fancy party, a lion chef's hat falls off, revealing a rat secretly controlling him by pulling his hair. That's a direct Ratatouille callback. Anyone who's seen it knows the gag instantly. A raccoon nearby yells, "I knew it," sealing the joke. But there's another layer most people miss. That raccoon isn't random. It's a nod to Raccoony, a movie featuring Kahu Kwan, the same actor who voices Gary. So the scene becomes self-aware, referencing Disney, Pixar, and its own cast at the same time. Kids laugh at the visual. Adults catch the meta joke hiding underneath. And then the movie straight up steps into horror territory. Nick and Judy chase a villain through a frozen maze in Tundra Town, and it looks familiar. That's because it's nearly a shot-for-shot homage to The Shining. The twisting ice walls, the isolation, the slow build of tension, it's all there. And Hubert Linksley leaning forward with that eerie stare? That's not accidental. It mirrors the unsettling presence from the 1980 horror classic. Kids see a dramatic chase. Adults see a full-on horror reference hiding inside a family film. Disney doesn't soften it or disguise it much either. It trusts older viewers to recognize the fear language instantly, and once you do, the scene suddenly feels way more intense than it ever should in a kid's movie. This one might be the darkest reference in the entire movie. Nick visits Bellwether in prison, but she's not behind bars. She's sealed behind thick glass, completely isolated, just like Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs. And here's the kicker: Bellwether is a lamb. The wordplay alone makes this an adult-only joke. The movie being referenced is literally called The Silence of the Lambs. It gets worse. She's made furniture out of her own wool. It's unsettling, creepy, and oddly disturbing in a way kids won't fully process. Adults, though, recognize the psychological horror immediately. Disney didn't just reference a thriller, it recreated the emotional tone of it. Calm menace, isolation, intelligence behind glass. That's not a kid's vibe, that's deliberate discomfort. And then the movie gets painfully real. Nick opens up about his childhood trauma, admitting he avoids talking about it because it scares him. That's not a joke, that's emotional vulnerability. The kind usually unpacked in therapy, not animated movies. Judy listens. The moment slows down. The humor fades. Chief Bogo then cracks a dark joke about Nick growing up with even more adult problems. It lands funny on the surface, but the message underneath is heavy. This scene isn't for kids. It's for adults who understand how childhood wounds follow you into adulthood. Disney doesn't dramatize it, it just lets it sit there. Quiet, honest, uncomfortable, and this is where Disney gets dangerously slick with language. Nibbles jumps into the conversation, casually saying, "It takes two to tango. A threesome to be something." On the surface, it sounds like she's just counting teammates. Innocent, functional, but adults hear it instantly. Those phrases don't live in teamwork conversations, they live in romantic ones, and context matters. Nick and Judy already have tension, long looks, emotional conversations, unspoken chemistry, so when that line lands, it doesn't feel accidental, it feels suggestive. Kids move right past it, adults pause, because once you hear it that way, you can't unhear it. Was that really about teamwork, or something else entirely? This scene slips something important past younger viewers. At the shipping docks, Nick and Judy pose as a married couple with a baby to get information, and the anteater accepts it instantly. No confusion, no shock. That quiet reaction matters. In Zootopia, a fox and a bunny raising a child together is normal. Kids see a funny undercover gag, but adults see deliberate world building and possibility. If no one questions it, the idea already exists in this world, hinting at something more than teamwork in the future. There's also a blink and you miss it nod for adults. Nick reads a Thoris comic published by JB Comics, a subtle signature from director Jared Bush. This storyline hits harder the older you are. The movie reveals that Agnes the Snake is the true inventor of Zootopia's weather technology. She designed it so every animal, predator, prey, land, water, could live comfortably together. It was meant to unite the city. But Ebenezer Linksley takes the credit. He pushes her out, erases her name, and rewrites history with himself at the center. Agnes disappears. Her work lives on without her. That's not fantasy. That's real life. Women throughout history have had inventions stolen, contributions buried, and legacies rewritten by powerful men. Kids see a wronged character. Adults see systemic erasure. Disney doesn't soften it, it just shows the injustice and lets it sit there, quietly uncomfortable. Here's where the movie's shadow gets darker. Early versions of Zootopia planned for predators to wear shock collars. If they felt too angry or excited, the collars would punish them. The city didn't trust predators to control themselves. It was fear-based control. Plain and simple. Disney scrapped the idea because it was too disturbing for kids. But the fear never fully left. You can still feel it in Nick's backstory, especially when he joins the Junior Ranger Scouts and gets bullied, humiliated, and labeled dangerous for who he is. Kids see teasing, adults see trauma, control, suppression. The collar may be gone, but the message lingers. Some animals were never allowed to feel safe being themselves. And just when things feel wrapped up, the movie drops a quiet hook. She hid it in her home. Find her home. It's brief, almost throwaway, but it plays like a cliffhanger meant for adults who love layered storytelling. It hints at secrets still buried, truths still hidden, and consequences waiting to surface. Kids don't latch onto it, adults do. Because that line doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a door left slightly open, and something on the other side waiting to be uncovered. So now that you've seen it all, what did you catch that others missed? Zootopia 2 clearly isn't just for kids, and that's what makes it fascinating. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if this surprised you, and subscribe, because there's a lot more hiding beneath the surface.